Hiya Pook. So real quick, I saw on your wall House of Eve and Love and Gelato. Are those titles? It has to be. At least House of Eve. Love and Gelato could be like your Italian trip that you want to take and you want to find love and gelato or fall in love with gelato. But The House of Eve by SADEQA Johnson is so good. Like, her historical fiction like blows me away. It literally makes me cry every time. But anyway, we can talk about that later once if you're going to read it. But all I'm talking about to you and the rest of the web is the books that I'm reading this month, because October, if you do not know, is book month, and I love all the little holidays. Like October 3rd was Boyfriend Day. I think it's October 6th is Transfer Money to Your Daughter Day. I'm a daughter. October 11th is Black Girl Day Off. You will catch me off. I'm off. So I'm just gonna celebrate book month with reading, and I feel like this is very something because ever since we've known each other, I have been writing. Like, I was editing and editing and editing and editing and editing. Better luck next time. I was writing and editing and writing and editing and editing, coming up Dana, and then writing and editing and writing. You didn't tell. So all of those are done. I am giving myself a break, and I am going to catch up on my physical TBR list plus my library books. And I'm just going to introduce you to all the books I'm going to read this month. I challenged myself to 20. I've only ever done 10. So we shall see. So first and foremost, I'm going to tell you about my library books. And usually when I'm at the library, I do Libby. So most of my books are ebooks. The only physical copy that I have is Louder Than Words by Ashley Woodfolk and Lexi Underwood. I read like it was like Blackout with Nicola Yoon and some other Black authors, and she was one of them, and that's all I know by her so far. And then Lexi Underwood, she was the daughter in that Reese Witherspoon show about that book written by that lady. Y'all know Lexi, but it's about motherhood. So that book. And so, yeah. And I'm always intrigued by people writing to like same book. And like I read another book by like some influencer of types who also wrote with like a real, well, not real author, but like an author. And I'm just like, And I think how I got turned on to this was on TikTok. So I'm reading that. And right now I'm currently reading Funny Story by Emily Henry. Emily Henry is my neighbor. She's in Cincinnati. I'm in Indianapolis. She just does the damn thing like it ain't nobody's damn business. And I'm just like, girl, do you sleep? I wish I didn't have to sleep. But so I'm currently reading that. That is also, Funny Story by Emily Henry will be on I Just Read This Book, the podcast, on Thursday, October 31st. So that's fun reading preparation for that. So my friend Reedy was reading That's Not My Name, and then Stephanie read That's Not My Name. So now I'm reading That's Not My Name. And I kind of like those kinds of books where it's like everyone reads it, and I'm sure we'll all have different perspectives. And yeah, I'm excited to like for us all to come together and see what we think. I was on something that the library put on, because Library for Life. And Frida McFadden was there, and she was talking about her books, writing all of the above. And she said her debut was The Devil Wears Scrubs. So I got that book. And then she also said that her favorite book that she's written so far is The Inmate, which I haven't read and is not on my October TBR list, but I'm just passing along the information. So I'm always intrigued by authors' debut. So I'm excited to like see where she started, how she's going, because I'm pretty sure The Inmate is like one of the last 3 books that she has written. So And then we have The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I've been trying to read one of his books for a minute, and this book is in one of the book clubs that I'm going to this month. So I was like, finally, I get to read one of his books. So I'll finally read one of his books. I actually have other books of his on my TBR to read, but the one that we're reading for book club is The Only One Left. And I heard he's all that in a bag of chips. And I don't really gravitate towards men authors. Like, if I had to name 10 men authors, I would not be able to. But now I can at least name 2, John Green and Riley Sager. And my last library book is Savor It. I don't know who wrote it because it's another book club pick. And yeah, just getting ahead of the game, reading all the book club books before book club, because a lot of the books that I have started but never finished are book club books, because like I'll start it and then I'd miss book club. So I'm like, oh, well, I'm not going to keep reading it. I'll finish it later. So let's go to the books that I've started but haven't finished. I thought I had more, but apparently I only have 3. So Just Some Stupid Love Story. Just Some Stupid Love Story. I don't know if you can still hear me. Started it, never finished it. We'll finish it this month because book month, catch up, woo woo. And then 7 Summers was a book club, and I didn't finish it, but then I went to book club and I was like, should I even finish it? But I do want to finish it because what they were talking about, I was like, wait, what? Like, sometimes when I hear spoilers, I'm never technically spoiled because I'm like, oh, okay, that happens, but I want to know how it happens, which is why I will finish this book by the end of the month. I have been reading this book for years. So Azaria and I read Slammed, which is the first book in this series. We read Slam. We talked about it on I Just Read This Book, the podcast. And I love Colleen Hoover, and I don't have time for any haters, so keep your thoughts to yourself. So yeah, I love Colleen Hoover, and Slam was her debut novel. As I said, I really like to see an author's debut novel to see where they started, where they're going, da-da. So we read Slammed. I loved it. And unfortunately, readers bullied Colleen Hoover into writing more. So she wrote Point of Retreat, which was fine. It was fine. Nothing to jump up and down about. If they needed that bad, whatever. I didn't need it. And then she wrote a 3rd one. Why? Who said this? Why? And yeah. And it's pretty much just recounting the first one from the guy's point of view. And I'm like, I already know what happens. And then it's like, oh, but you don't know exactly this. And I'm like, I don't care. But I digress. We will finish it this month. And last but not least, I have 46 plus 46 plus 8, which is 50 something. I am not a mathematician. So I have 50 something physical books on my TBR shelf that I have not read yet. So 1, I want to have my TBR shelf read before Nick and I move. And 2, these are the books that don't fit on my shelf. So these are the books I'm going to start and finish through the month of October for book month. And we have The Overnight Guest this is a book club pick. And I've actually met this lady and she was really sweet. So I have one of her books and I forget what it's like, No One's Watching or something, or Everyone's Watching. But this will be the first book I read of hers because, I have it, but I haven't read it. I have it, but I haven't read it. So yes, The Overnight Guest for a book club, and just to start clearing my TBR. I met Lauren Asher, and I want to say May, and picked up the series. So this is book 1 of the Lakefront Billionaire series. So I'll start with book 1. I have book 2. I think she's already coming out with book 3. I'm an author, people, but I well, you guys like me too, because it stresses me out as an author. I'm like, I can't write that fast. Like, even if I was traditionally published, that just isn't something, that's not the writing schedule I could do for myself mentally, physically, spiritually, like emotionally. Like, no. So just like love me for who I am, please. Speaking of indie authors, my friend Jensen is writing the Strangers series. This is book 1, Until Now. Until Now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? So book 1, Until Now, by Jensen Parker. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have her on the podcast soon too. And I'm really excited because, yeah, like, she's an indie author. She's a local author. She's one of my friends. And I just, nothing warms my heart more than community. So yeah, this is her book 1 that I'll be reading this month. And she already has book 2 out, Strictly Business, that I'll be reading this month. So a little back-to-back action. Is she coming out with a 3rd one this year? Like, even indie authors can have the exact same writing schedule as traditional published authors. I am neither one of them. I am a little girl who just takes her time, okay? But okay, so I'll be reading both of these. And then I got to meet Tracy Livesay when I was stalking down Kennedy Ryan, and I just fell in love with her. And so I bought her American Royalty series. She said it's like Prince Harry and Meghan the Stallion. And I was like, stop. Like, could you imagine Prince Harry and Meghan the Stallion together? Honestly, vibes. So I got the first book in the series, American Royalty. And then the second book, which is The Duchess Effect. And Tracy told me, she was like, she needs to write a 3rd book. And I'm like, girl, who do I have to call? Because I can read a reimagined fairy tale of Prince Harry and Meg the Stallion for the rest of my days. Like, I cannot wait to get into this series and then obsess over it and demand a 3rd book. Thank you. The Truth According to Ember. This book is a big deal because it's written by an Indigenous author with 2 Indigenous main characters. I love that for them. So yeah. So it says, The Truth According to Ember, Liar, Liar, Heart on Fire. What could that mean? So I'm excited for me and for Danica. Like, congrats, girl. Paving the way. And I have an Indigenous friend, and she was just floored with this aspect of an Indigenous author and 2 main characters that are also Indigenous. And I'm like, there's a seat for all of us. And last but not least is watching Eddie. Meh. So I am in so many reading challenges, and this one is on Storygraph. And one of the questions was like, oh, choose a number on your TBR, and that's the number that you will have to read, the book number that you'll have to read. So I asked Nick, he picked a number. It was Watching Edie, and yeah, so I'll be reading that this month. I'm excited just because I will, 1, be able to check off on the reading challenge, and 2, be able to get it off of my TBR on Goodreads, because I think I have like 90 books on Goodreads, and I've been trying to get it down to 75 for like 5 years. So little small victories. So those are all my books for the month. I forgot this one on my started but haven't finished. So yeah, Mr. Sin is on that as well. And I'm really liking it. And it was recommended by my friends Olivia and Emily. They're Pair This Book With on Instagram. And yeah, they're like obsessed with this series. There's also like a hockey series. But I'm gonna stay with the Sin. I'm gonna stay here with Sin. Sin seems good and safe for me. So Mr. Sin, started, but haven't finished it. We'll finish it by the end of the month. Like I said, I'm currently reading Emily Henry's Funny Story, and we're going to be talking about it on Thursday, October 31st on I Just Read This Book, the podcast. And yeah, if you saw something, if you know something that I should add or we can collaborate and chat about, please let me know. Let's talk down in the comments because I will be there. And there's nothing I love more than talking books, but like books that we have read, because everyone's vibe is different. Everyone has different opinions and how that book story changed or felt to them. So I love the ambiance of all people in one book. So yeah, I usually read 10 books. Well, no, I've only read 10 books a month, like maybe twice or three, and I feel good about myself. Woo. But since it's book month, I want to up it. I also love a challenge. I just love being able to say, I did that. So my goal today or this month is 20 books read, and from my list that I just told us all about, that is 19. It turned out I had 18 books instead of 19 books. And I wrote louder than words twice. So blah, blah, blah. Moral of the story is I then did like a blindfold pick, which is another challenge on my Storygraph. And I picked The Wrong Bride by, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she is a beautiful, beautiful woman. And I think she started indie and is now trad. And I found this book at Powell's in Portland. Portland? Are we in Portland? Portland, Oregon. Yeah. So I found it in Powell's in Portland. And like for me, when I'm at bookstores, one, I want to visit an independent bookstore in every state. And two, I look for BIPOC authors. So I'm excited to start this because look at this cover. Stop. So those are all of my 19 finally. And yeah. So if you follow me on Instagram, yeah, I think I'll do it on Instagram. Yeah, follow me on Instagram. I will have like a something here, something there, where you can choose my 20th pick to read in October. So look out for that on I Just Read This Book, no spaces. It's really hard to like tell my Instagram handle name because they're like, oh, what's your Instagram? And I'm like, I just write this book, no spaces. And then people always type in no spaces. Like they type in no spaces and I'm like, no. So I'm just gonna link it, people. I'm excited to enjoy this time with books that aren't mine, with characters that aren't mine, and just like enjoy this time because I will be doing a version of National Novel Writing Month. I do not believe in 50,000 words in 1 month. Yeah, F y'all, F that. But I will be writing next month. And I'm so excited because it's the 2026 that I'm going to come out with. And I hope you guys love them as much as I do, because I have missed them so much. Did I tell anyone this? Okay, so long story short, the novel that I'll be writing / rehashing, I queried it once and got hella no's, and then I was just like, about my life, and then I was like, hey, I wonder where that book is. I want to reread it. And I looked on my Goodreads everywhere trying to find out where it was, and it turns out that I wrote it. So I'm gonna like rewrite it, revamp it into the current of life, and yeah, that will be coming out soon. So stay tuned for that as well. And I'm just excited to get back into those characters because I miss them so much. And it's a mystery, and I haven't done a full-length novel mystery. You Didn't Tell is a mystery, but I'm excited to just do this for me, for us. Yeah. So that's all I have. Like I said, if you know any of these books, any of these authors, any recommendations, feel free to leave them in the comments. Or if you want to like buddy read, hit me up on Instagram. Yeah, I'm just excited to spend this time with literature. Is this technically considered literature? Okay, so that is the end of my segment of For Pookie, and now gots to go read until we can't no mo. Love you, Pooks. Love you all.